Becca here. I am bringing you another one of Michelle's patterns. This one is called the Bee's Knees Lace. I am currently using my 5/8 gauge chunky KB loom and bulky weight number 5. This one is a red heart gemstone in color Perdot. It is one of those thinner bulky 5s. Let's walk through the pattern. You will need any loom with a minimum of 22 pegs and yarn appropriate for the loom. If you wanted to try this pattern with a DK3 weight or a worsted 4 weight, I would use a 3/8 gauge. If you're using a bulky 5 like I am, you can use your 5/8 gauge or a 3/4 gauge. With a super bulky 6, I would use a 3/4 gauge. I am currently working on an infinity scarf, so I cast it on 22 pegs. But if you want to make it wider, the pattern is a 20 plus 2. The first and last pegs will always be our clean edges, so that just means that we would purl or knit the first and last peg, and then when we turn and go back, we would do the reverse. The instructions come with written and then also this handy dandy chart. You will see that it is a 5-row repeat. Our row 1 is a purl row. Our rows 2 and 4 are our knit rows, but we will be using those as prep rows for our rows 3 and our rows 5. Row 3 and 5 have SSKs, knit 2 togethers, and some yarn overs. When we are knitting our row 2 and our row 4, we will be knitting and then we'll be moving our stitches either right or left to set up for our SSKs and our knit 2 togethers, and then also to ensure that we have empty pegs for our yarn overs. Let's get started. All right, I am currently on row 2 of the pattern. I've already completed my 1 row of purls for my row 1. When I am going left to right, I am going to be knitting my first peg, and when I am going right to left, I'm going to be purling. But you can do whatever makes the most sense for you on your first and last pegs. So I'm going to knit. All right, so then I am just gonna start knitting. And then I will move my second here back to my first, knit my third, and move my third to my fourth. So really with this row, we are just going to be repeating these 4 pegs for the rest of the row. So just keep knitting and moving. And I'm almost to the end of my row here. And my last peg, I will just knit. Alright, so when I'm done with this row, pegs 3 and 4, 7 and 8, 11 and 12, 15 and 16, 19 and 20 should be empty. So let's start row 3. All right, my first one, I will purl. With this row, any pegs that have 2 stitches, I am going to be knitting bow stitches over. For any pegs that are empty, I'm going to be laying my yarn loosely in front of those pegs. And I'm just going to keep repeating those same steps for the rest of this row. I'm coming to the end of my row here. And for me, I'm going to purl my last stitch. All right, then that brings us to our row 4. And again, this is going to be a prep row for row 5. I am going to purl or knit my first peg here, and then I'm just going to start knitting. And this row is a little different, but the same. We are going to just knit these first couple pegs here. And then once we get to this 4th peg here, then we will move. And knit, and knit, and then move. So really with this row, we are just going to repeat these 4 pegs then for the rest of this row. And then you will continue on with your pattern. You will continue to repeat these 5 rows for as long as you want your pattern. Happy looming!